Hello, everybody, and a very, very warm welcome to the Wine with Jimmy channel. It is an honour to have you on board. Delightful to see you all. Thank you for stopping by to this wine educational channel. It's designed to help those of you really understand specific wine topics and to travel around the wonderful world of wine, to help really those of you studying wine to get the most from it, to of course pass your examinations with flying colours. So welcome here to another series for the diploma of the WSET. That's the level 4. We are here on Central Italy. So this is in fact the last series of Central Italy, looking at Abruzzo. Look at the gorgeous L'Aquila here in the background. This is the famous 99 fountains in L'Aquila. Really wonderful location, as you can see here. And we're going to talk a bit about that. We're going to talk a bit about the sort of setting, the history, the introduction behind Abruzzo on this first section. So yes, we're in Abruzzo, the last series of Central Italy, and it's just only a 3-parter. Manageable, bite-size, easy to understand. So part 1, which is this one, is available as free content on the ether, on the internet. Part 2 and part 3 on the climate all the way through to the appellations will only be available on my e-learning portal. That's over at winewithjimmy.com. Lots of wonderful exclusive video content there. So let's rock and roll talking about the world of Abruzzo. First of all, where on earth do we find it? So Abruzzo is on Italy's east coast, on the Adriatic side of things, south of Marche and north of Puglia and Molise. So Puglia is just here, Molise here, Marche. So it's sandwiched between those on the east coast. We also have pretty much a lot of Lazio here as a border as well for this area. It is Italy's 5th largest region by production volume, typically, ahead of Piemonte and Tuscany, with production volumes here generally being led by cooperatives. And of course, the leading variety here is the black grape variety, Montepulciano. That's your leading variety that dominates. It's not to the same sort of extent as Sangiovese across in Tuscany, how that dominates, but it certainly is the leading variety. So what does one find in Abruzzo? I'm going to go through later on the appellation section more detail about the specific appellation subzones and DOCGs, including a new DOCG from 2021. But really, for the main part, Abruzzo produces 3 styles of wine, and you'll see them all there on your slide. The right-hand side, first of all, is Trebbiano d'Abruzzo. That is your white, a fresh, acidic, unoaked, crisp white wine, typically. Then on the left-hand side, with all of its beautifully dark pink glory, you'll see there on the left, we have the Cerasuelo d'Abruzzo, which is made from the Montepulciano variety. And it's normally quite a gutsy, full-bodied rosé. Wonderful, wonderful style. Then in the middle, we have the famous, perhaps it's infamous, and that's the Montepulciano d'Abruzzo, the red, which is, of course, made from Montepulciano, generally as an expensive wine, but there are some expressions, of course, which are chunkier, bigger, and more complex. So what about a little bit of history about Abruzzo? Just because, you know, I start all of these series off with just setting the wonderful scene. So, excuse me, Abruzzo was inhabited by the Aequii, which is this tribe that lived in this area, along with the Samnites and also the Piceni. So the Aequii, Samnites, and Piceni were all found here. And to be honest, there were other tribes as well. Abruzzo became a part of the Roman Republic in the 3rd century BC, and under the Romans, it was known as, I think it's called Aprutium. And they say that this is where the name Abruzzo is said to get its etymology, from Aprutium, which is a name which was taken by the Romans, seeded by the Romans, and then really followed on through the Middle Ages in this area. The picture here is the Rocca Calaschio, which is the Lady Hawk Fortress in L'Aquila, which we looked at, and we saw the beautiful fountains on the first picture. Okay, so what happened after that into your Middle Ages? So after the fall of the Roman Empire, the region was annexed by the Lombards and became a part of the Spoleto dukedom, so the Spoleto dukedom. Spoleto today is in fact southern Umbria, and actually there is some great wines, Trebbiano, produced in there. Now, it earned its independence as a county between the 9th and 12th centuries, but then was subsequently annexed by the Normans and their movement from Sicily north into the Italian peninsula. And under this, it was incorporated into the Kingdom of Sicily. And that's what you see here in the middle of the 12th century. All this green area is the Kingdom of Sicily. From the 12th century onwards, Abruzzo's fate was therefore linked to the Kingdom of Sicily and the Kingdom of Two Sicilies, which was Sicily, Sicilia, and Napoli, Naples. It was renamed, actually, the Kingdom of Napoli in the 14th century before becoming the Two Sicilies in the 19th century. In 1861, the Kingdom of the Two Sicilies was incorporated into the Kingdom of Italy, and so too was Abruzzo. As we said previously, Abruzzo's fate was very much then tied with the Kingdom of Two Sicilies. And then, of course, it went through the normal modern era. So what about the wine business here in Abruzzo? Here you are. So the average annual production is about 3 million hectolitres. So it's fairly large. About 60%, going on to 2/3 of it is red, as one would expect. Certainly many of us have seen and tried Montepulciano d'Abruzzo more than, say, Trebbiano or Cerasuelo, the white and the pink respectively. Quality wine, that is DOC and DOCG, accounts for about 40% of production. And a lot of that is, I think probably about 3/4 of that is Montepulciano d'Abruzzo, DOC. IGT, that is regional wine, is just around 10%. And then wines without origin, which was previously Vino de Tavola, is the remaining 50%. So it's quite a subsequent amount of, significant rather, amount of wine. 3/4 of the wine's production comes from the region's 40 cooperative wineries. They are very powerful in this area. The wines are sold in places like Italy, of course. They are exported in places in Northern Europe. The UK quite likes them. The US, Canada as well. They are famous in a lot of these markets because they are excellent value for money. The majority of the wines, therefore, if they are excellent value for money, are inexpensive. There are a small amount of premium and super premium wines that tend to be sold in specialist stores and specialist merchants around the world. Significant producers of more specialist labels include the likes of Valentini, which is super premium priced, Maschiarelli, and also cooperatives like Cantina Tollo, which actually can produce some decent wine as well. Okay, so that brings me to the end of this first bite-sized chunk of Abruzzo, and please do join me for part 2, looking at climate, grape growing geology a little bit, and the key grape varieties that we find in play here in Abruzzo. If you do, of course, have any comments, questions, or concerns, you can get in touch. And the best thing for you to do is to comment on this video below. Make sure you click like and subscribe whilst you are down there. It helps me and it helps you with regular updates. And you can also utilize the social media you see at the bottom of every slide if you want to say hello, or perhaps tag us in one of your revision sessions. And of course, if you do find yourself in this wonderful nation that I am housed in, this is the lovely green rolling hills of Old Blighty, the United Kingdom, then please come and say hi. It would be lovely to see you, potentially for a class, more likely a glass, even more likely a bottle. I've been Jimmy Smith. Ciao for now. Goodbye.